So as I was saying, uh, let me share you the plan of action for this boot camp. And as you all know, this is a 14-day boot camp, but we won't be having sessions all 14 days. Rather, we will be using 5 or 6 days to finish it off, right? And rest of the days you can consider to be the day where you work on your project. You like, try to understand what are the components that we did in the rest of the days. Next thing would be that I want to say or I want to discuss is about the timing. I genuinely am asking for a early session. I know that the time is from 10, but what I feel like is that for the morning sessions from 10 to 12, it's like an very odd time. What I feel like, and it's could be a could be a personal opinion, but yes, that I feel like. So what I suggest is that either we keep the timing from 9, as we were talking in the G space, from 9 or from 8. Okay. So I'm like letting you guys decide whatever timing is suitable for you guys. I prefer 8 a.m. so that it will be finished by 10 and you are free for the rest of the day. Right. And apart from this, okay. So as I was saying about the boot camp, we'll be like coding, but it will be more of a generic code that I will be doing for each part. Right. Each part generic code as in like we'll be following a problem statement, but it won't be the current problem statements. Rather, it will be the guiding problem statements for us. But mostly whatever I code would be generic, and you can like consider it to be somewhat like and guiding way so that you can implement the same thing in your projects. So how we will start is for today we'll be like very quickly going through the problem statements. The one that is like the household app and the parking ticket, like parking app. Right. Next thing would be at least for today, it would be like very quickly seeing how we are doing a mad one project. Right? It will be a very basic project, and on top of it, starting tomorrow or whatever is the next day, we'll be like coding or we'll be transforming that mad one project into our mad two project, starting off with backend. So the first 2 days will be backend, apart from this one. So next day, so let me code it out. The days today is day 0. There will be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. Okay. So day 1 and day 2 would be backend dedicated to only to backend. Day 3 and day 4 would be front end, and the last day that is day 5 is backend jobs. Right. Anything if we need, we can go for an day extra that is after day 6, and we will decide accordingly how how we are covering up the topics each day. Right. So for each day, there would be the recordings, but the recording would take time to be uploaded. So please do not rely on the recording solely. Rather, please join the class. Ask if you have any doubt. I know it might get boring some of the times because you might have like it's already like the term has started already, and you might be like in between your projects. So please bear with me. Do join the sessions. Ask if you have any doubt. And as I was saying, the recordings will be uploaded to a YouTube playlist that will be shared very shortly with you. And like I cannot promise at exact time, but whatever recording that we are getting will be like I will be uploading it to your YouTube playlist by that day only. Like for example, if I am doing the session today right now, so I might like it might take some time for me to get the recording and to upload it. It might take me some more time. So expect it by tonight. Next thing would be whatever code that we will be coding will be uploaded or will be maintained in a GitHub repository. You can use it in the GitHub repository, and I will share the GitHub repository to you. Anything that you want to ask? Okay. One more thing to say is that please do consider this not to be an instructor session or something where the instructor speaks and quotes and discusses whatever topic he has to. Rather, we consider this to be an fellow peer-led session where he is also trying to explain you or trying to at least guide you how he has done his project or else how you could do your project in the boot camp. Right? So please do not hear out or something. Speak out loud, whatever language that you want. I'm mostly okay with the North Indian languages, almost all uh, the South Indian languages I can try. So please do not consider to be a language as a barrier.
Okay, sir, we can go with the problem statement.
Yeah, fine. Opening that up. As for the time being, you there are five people. Would you like respond me in the chat box if you have started with your project?
Are you asking about the project?
Yeah. Have you started working on it? Also, I was forgetting one thing. Tell me if anyone is having something like doing the theory course right this term. As I am considering that everyone has completed, at least if five has completed the theory course, right? Uh,
Yes, have
no
completed
response.
theory course.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let's see the problem statement. So, theory course system. Okay. So, whoever is doing the theory course this term, but Amit said, a small suggestion for you. Please try to finish off till week 7 or week 8 for Mat 2 so that you can like get the basic topics that will be like needing that we will be needing for the project. So as early as you could.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. So we have two problem statements. One is the parking app and the one is the household app. Please consider anything is possible. Like you can go for any of the apps and see the structure for the app is kind of same. Like, in principle, at least for the higher level overview, it's same. Just that the logics might be different. But if you start off as both the prompt statements are multi-user app, like right, both will be having two kind of a user. As in, one would be a super user or an admin user, another one would be a normal user, general user, right? So you can consider that part to be same for both the statements. Next thing is the frameworks. Frameworks are again same. Please be aware that whatever library or whatever micro library that you want to use, you are allowed to go for it. But these frameworks cannot be changed. Right? So at least for the backend, you have to use Flask. For the front end, you have to use Vue, like Vue as in Vue.js. You cannot use Ginger to templates for your front end pages. Rather, for any part that you need templating, you can go for it, but not for UI. Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, whatever styling that you want to use, you can go for it. Like they are specifying out Bootstrap or not, but you can use others to like Tailwind and stuff. You can use no worries. SQLite for database, yes, that is a must. You cannot go for Postgres or MongoDB or anything like that. Next thing is Redis for caching and Redis and Celery for batch jobs. So those are the total must that yes, you have to use those. You cannot like have a like slight change or something for those. And be sure that everything is before you are going for some reason, be sure that everything is working fine. And Acha, there is one more thing that I would suggest over here is that please use a virtual environment, okay, for at least for your backend development, and keep it's an good practice to follow. Okay. Next thing would be there is one slight thing that I missed. That is, if you check out the second and third bullet point, they are saying that Vue.js for UI and Vue.js advanced with CLI. Only if required, but not necessary. What I suggest is that if you haven't started off with the project, or at least if you haven't started off with your front end, go for Vue CLI. Vue CLI as in not the package. Rather, use Vue.js, like, build the project, build the Vue.js front end with CLI. Okay. Like there are two options, one CD and CLI. I'm not, please, I'm repeating, I'm not talking about Vue CLI. Okay. If you do not know this, do a quick Google search, you will get what I'm trying to say. Rather, use CLI to build the Vue.js front end. What are the benefits, you might ask? Like you can, it's very much feature rich. It's easier to debug any code, or like any error or stuff, and even it would make your life easier. That is why I'm saying to use CLI. Next thing, there are, as we are saying, there are two roles. One is admin and one is user. So if you see admin is a super user, there can be only one admin to your app. Admin cannot register himself. Okay, it's not mentioned over here, but that's a thing. Requires no registration. Okay. So the admin user cannot be registered. Okay, so registered as in not from the registration page. There can be only one admin user at a time. Admin can create a new parking lot. Each parking lot have any number of parking spots for four-wheeler. Each parking lot can have different price. Admin can keep status of all available parking spots on his or her dashboard. Admin can delete it number of. Okay. Next, what are we saying? We are saying that you are making an app for a parking lot business. If you have seen parking lot, it's like what? It's an empty space where the people can park their car, right? So what you are doing, you're just creating up a management for that parking lot. So your admin can create parking lots. Lots are the multiple spaces, and for each specific parking lot or each specific space, there can be n number of cars parked. Okay, so you decide for that. Now the next thing is that you will be like, so if you have to build the operation. So what you have to do, you have to build the CRUD operations for a space, and for each space you have to build the CRUD operation so that you can use like what you can have a parking lot as in a space for each car. Within a big parking lot, you are creating slots for each car. So two kind of CRUD operations. Next thing is that be very sure, as we are saying, that admin can view all the status and of available parking spots and stuff. So what am I saying is that I have seen that people are confused in the CRUD operations where they are like, if you consider CRUD operations, what are those? So create, update, delete, and read. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you are creating, that's fine. Whenever you are reading, that's fine. But for update and delete, you need to be sure that whenever you are doing an operation, update or delete operation on a parking lot, it cannot be that the car is parked in the parking lot or n number of cars is parked in the parking lot and you are doing update or delete. Okay, that's not possible. So you have to manage it somehow. At least for the parking lot, you cannot delete it. That's for sure. You cannot delete the parking lot. But at least for updating, you need to be sure that whenever you are updating that parking lot, the cars that are parked over there should not be hampered. Now, next thing is that CRUD operations for parking spot. For that, again, create and read are fine, but update and delete both needs to be like, it is only and only possible if a spot is not having any car. So you're getting my point. That if a car is parked in a specific spot, you cannot update or delete that spot. Okay. And for the parking lot, you cannot delete a parking lot whenever a single car is also parked in that parking lot. Okay. That's the thing. Next thing is user. What a user can do. For example, I am having a car. I want to use the app to get a parking spot. So for that, I can like register and log into your app. Then I can choose a parking lot and pay whatever the amount is. Okay, if you have that feature, or else just book the spot. And after that, I can like park my car. Like I can switch to the, I can use the parking spot or parking lot, right? Next thing is to vacate or release the spot. Whenever I'm done, I can like vacate or release the spot. Okay. So there are very less APIs for the user. You can like, it would be a lighter part that you want to or that you have to build. So please focus majorly on your admin backend and stuff. Terminologies, there is user, there is admin, as you have talked about those two, and I have talked about the parking lot, parking spot. Then there's reserves parking spot. Okay. So whatever uh, they're giving out an idea about the tables that we will be needing, right? It might be something like you need more tables, or you can like manage within this 3 tables or less. It's up to you. Okay. Even whatever uh, like column names that are provided over here, it's not that you have to use this. Rather, you can use anything of your own choice. So as I was saying, there's parking lot and there's parking spot. You have talked about those, and reserves parking spot. They're saying it whatever or whenever a user is booking for a spot or vacating or releasing it, we'll be like updating the data over here. Okay, you can use it, or else you can plan it out. It's totally up to you. There's no hard and fast requirement that yes, you have to have this in your app. Not exhaustive stress can add more views and fix as per the requirements. Okay. Next thing again, there's a wireframe. I've seen multiple people that they have like whatever styling and stuff is given in the wireframe, they're using it, and that is okay. That is fine, but it's not. Again, it's totally up to you if you want to do it. As it's also mentioned, replication of the exact use is not allowed. Okay, coming to the core operations. You sure about one thing? Whatever core operations over here, like there are 5 major core operations. So you have to have all in your app so that you are yeah, passing through the at least passing through 5 or 1. So starting off with the first core functionality or requirement, that is admin login and user login. Please be sure and please confirm that please be confirmed that it only have the registration page for user, okay, not for admin. So whenever it, like as this is an role based app, okay, so you have to like declare a app like declare a role whenever a user is trying to register onto your app. So do it something like whenever a user is trying to register for your app, you allot the user role or general user role, not the admin. Like default it out as this is a two user app. That's an idea. Even I will be using that. So please not get confused if you are not getting what I'm trying to say. Next thing, what are they saying? That login and register for user and login for admin. Okay. Application can have only one admin at a time. You can either use flash security, and even if you are using flash security, you can have the option for either session or token based, or else you can totally shift to JWT based token authentication. Okay. So for JWT based token authentication, you can use the JWT extended library, the class JWT extended library. Next thing, the app must have a suitable model to store and differentiate on all type of users. Okay. So over here, one thing that I want to mention is that I would be using Flash Security Library, and for Flash Security specifically, I'll be using token-based authentication. Okay, do not have to follow either me or anyone, rather it's a choice of me. Okay. Next thing is the admin dashboard for admin. Admin should be added whenever a new database is created. So you can think of it something like whenever your app is starting for the first time. Okay, the admin credentials, or at least the users should be created at that point. I'll be guessing that if you haven't done it, or if you are not aware how to do it, okay. Else, if you are having any other plan of action, that is also possible. You do not have to totally or blindly follow it. The next thing is that admin, like whatever CRUD operations that I was saying a moment back. Same thing is mentioned over here that admin creates, deletes, edits a parking lot. Delete only if all spots are, like as I was again saying. Delete is only possible if the parking lot is totally empty. Admin cannot add each parking spot individually. The number of spots will be created based on the maximum number of parking spots in a lot. Number of spots will be created based on the maximum number of parking spots in a lot. So basically, what they are trying to say is that whenever you are creating a parking lot, okay, what fields do you need? Something name, address, something like price, or whatever that you want to keep, right? Next thing, you will be specifying what are the maximum number of spots that are available. Okay? So what are they saying? You have to the parking spot segment. You have to create details for each parking spot, right? Rather doing it manually, what are they saying? That we code it in such a way that whenever a parking lot is being created, we specify that I have 10 parking spot for that specific lot. I'm considering it one example, 10 parking spots. So what it will do whenever you are creating that lot, it will be automatically will be creating the spots under that parking lot. Okay. Now, how that can be done is very easy. You just need to use a loop kind of a thing, and whatever IDs also can be auto generated. So no need to worry. So you can merge it into a single API call or something. Next thing is admin can view the status of parking spots and check the parking details if a parking spot is occupied or not. So on the front end side, you have to on the dashboard side, or else in the not in the dashboard side, but rather in the dashboard, or create a different page where the parking, where the admin can see whatever parked car is there in a parking lot. Okay. It's a live view kind of a thing. Or whatever spot is empty or whatever spot is occupied, what are the details, who is the user that have parked, used the parking spot, and those kind of things. Admin can view all the history user, admin can view summary chart for parking lot and spots. Okay. So it's like admin can have a watch on all the users, right? Whoever is there in the registered in the app. Fine. Next thing is that summary charts. You can use any library, be it pandas, be it matplotlib, cbond, plotly, anything, charges, or any other library or package that you can think of. You just need to showcase some of the summary details, as in some analytics on your admin dashboard. Next thing is the user dashboard. The user can choose a available parking lot, and allocation is done as per the first available parking spot. Okay, so it is something like a parking lot is there, and over there, out of 10, there are 8 parking spots. So it is like it's your app's principle that your app won't be allowing the user to specifically choose a parking spot or such. Rather, what it what it will do, whatever the best or the first one that is available, first one not from the starting or something, whatever best parking spot is available, it will just allot it. It's something like looking for the railway ticket. You cannot like choose a seat or whatever best seat as per the algorithm. It will be like allocated to you. So think of it something like that. The user changes the status for a parking lot, parking spot to be occupied once the vehicle is parked and released whenever the vehicle is out or taken out from the parking lot. The timestamp is recorded between park in, and park out. So yeah, I can do that. Like we'll be covering that too. So what you have to do is from the backend side only. So whenever a user is trying to book a parking spot, what is expected from the user, that or what the user expects, your app should be as easy as it could be. So it could be something like, yes, he found his parking lot and now he's checking out the details that yes, parking spots are empty in that parking lot. Next thing is that he just wants to, as he cannot like specifically choose a spot, so what he has to do or what he expects that he has to do is that he clicks on a button or he somehow clicks on something that would allow him or that would generate or at least give out a spot for him that yes, he can park on that spot. The least thing that is a single button click. So from that, you have to design your API in such a way that you are like auto allocating the parking spot for that lot. Okay, that's the first thing. Next thing is that you have to record the parking timestamp, and you have to like whenever like the same idea will be implemented for whenever the user is taking out the car, right? So it's like a single button click. That time too, what you are doing, you are specifying that parking spot to be empty as of now. Okay. So at the same time, you have to record the timestamp. Okay. So nothing comes from the user. Rather, you have to do it in such a way that you are like your backend should be capable to handle those. Okay. So consider that it's like anyways. Next thing is so somebody chat for his or her parking. Okay. So you can like use that analytics whenever a user is parking using our app to park his car and stuff. So use that analytics to show a chart in the dashboard too. Next thing is that database must be created automatically. So it's like you cannot use DB browser or kind of stuff that is SQL browser or something. Like you cannot use a GUI. Rather, what you can do is that either you can use the SQLite terminal to build the database or design the database. Else, you can use the models to backpropagate into a database. Okay. We'll be doing that. We'll be figuring that out. So, yeah, even I will be doing that model code-based option that is backpropagating it into a database. So it's like doing the same thing, like designing the same thing. Like for each table, you have to define out whatever columns and what like for each column, what are the properties and stuff. So one thing that could be done is that the same thing you will be writing again in the models part. Okay? So rather doing it twice, what you can do, you can like declare out whatever details about the database in the model and like use a single command that would create you the database. So try to do it twice. Next thing are the backend jobs and caching. Before I proceed into that, like as per the three requirements, those are the CRUD operations. Those are the only CRUD operations, at least for your app. If you have anything to ask for this three, even ask else. Like, you can for the backup jobs. Also, if I have skipped anything, you can like, yeah, update out. Considering the silence to be okay. So at least for the backend jobs and caching, you can like keep that part for the time where you are like at least you are somewhat done with your backend and somewhat done with your front end. Okay, then only go for the backend jobs. Else, it would be like if you are new for backend jobs, like considering at least for the backend, you are good to go as you have already made the Mad One project. Like you will be facing some more difficulty for your front end. Okay, I'm not saying huge. At least I'm saying for the newbies that you might see some face some hurdles for your front end, but you can manage it. Right now, the thing comes when you are going for backend jobs. Okay? I have seen multiple people where they are facing problems for the backend jobs. So what I suggest is that at least in terms of marks and stuff, backend jobs and caching is having a smaller segment. Okay, I'm not saying that you miss out on those. Rather, what you want to do is that you want to cover up uh, most of the requirements that are needed for your project. Okay? So do one thing, try to build at least the basic backend and front end and connect those two up, and finally go for backend jobs. Okay. Backend jobs, if you like, whenever you are starting off, it might at least for setting those up, it might take some time. But if you are done with the setup, it's like it will barely take some time for you. Like it would be like very easy after you are done with your setup. So for backend jobs can be divided into three parts. Okay. Three are majorly into two. That is, one part is like auto scheduled, so you do not have to worry about running those two tasks. And the second part is that whenever a uh, user wants to trigger something, so in that case, a user wants to interact, in that case, a job will be initiated. So you can think of it something like, okay, I'm coming to that in a moment, but let's start off with the scheduled jobs. So the scheduled jobs can be broken down into two parts. One is daily reminder, another one is monthly activity report. So it's like you are running one task daily at, on a daily basis at a specific time, and you are running another task at a monthly basis. Okay, once a month at a specific time. Now here's the thing: for daily reminder, you are getting an option to. It's like a notification. Like if you have, like, I'm not saying if you are, but you might have used that Zomato or Swiggy wala food delivery app. If you have seen that, if you are already, like, if you are having that in your phone, you can see that at a specific time they will be sending you notifications. It can be something like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. that yes, get something for breakfast or something. Right? Even for dinner too, they might be preferring a time that's between 7 to 8. That yes, order food from our app or also from our portal. They're using a specific time to send you reminder or remind you that yes, you can use our app. It's kind of something like that where you are promoting your app, okay, for your users or towards your users. So it's like you can use SMS, mail, or Google Google Chat option. Okay. So what I would prefer is that you go for either for the Google Chat option or for email, because SMS is an paid service. So yeah, don't use. But if you are like if you have done something as an Google Chat option or mail and want to try SMS, you can go for it, but it's an paid option for you. So even what I will be doing is that I will be showcasing that mail wala option. And for Google Chat webhook, you can do one thing. Webhooks, even Google Chat webhooks are being discussed in the theory course. Just refer to that, and it's like barely something to cover up. Okay. So how they wanted to do is that something like user check if a user has visited your app or not. Like for example, you can like whenever a user logs in, you can like track that user. That yes, what was the last time the user has logged in. From there, I can like do this schedule job. That is basically I'm trying to check if the whenever like what am I trying to say is that whenever I'm running this daily reminder or a task, I'll be checking if a specific user, for example, there's Amit. Okay. Amit, if Amit have logged onto my app in the past 24 hours, for example, that's an example, right? If he haven't logged in, so what I will consider that yes, he haven't visited us in a specified time. So what I will do, I will send Amit a notification. Okay, so that's a true condition. So it is up to you how you are designing that. Okay, I gave an example. You can use it. Else, you can consider that uh, whenever a new parking lot is created by an admin. Okay, for example, today I'm creating a new parking lot. So whenever today's daily reminder or task will run, it can like, have a check that yes, a newer parking lot has been created today. So I can send out notifications. Else, like for example, for yesterday, I didn't build any or added any new parking lot yesterday, so I won't be sending a reminder. So that's a choice that you want to make. Okay. It's totally up to you how you want to design it. Next thing, yeah, if yes, then we are sending out the notifications. The reminder can be sent out in the evening every day, and students can choose the time. So it's up to you. Next thing is the monthly reminder. It's kind of same, but you have to do it in a email format. For that, what I want to say is that rather using a live SMTP server, like for example, for a service like Gmail or something, rather prefer to development SMTP servers that you can run on your local system. You will be like checking those out. You can be worried. And this is for example, why am I trying to or why am I pushing for a development SMTP server? That is because for users, you won't be using a valid email address, right? Rather, you will be using dummy email addresses. For that, you will be like, it's very easy to showcase that yes, the mails are out. If you are using SQL development SMTP server, we will be discussing those things in, whenever we are going for the real jobs. But yeah, and for each monthly activity, like each activity report, the thing is that you will be sending the reports to a specific user where you will be listing down when and where or whatever details it could have for each user. Like for example, as I was talking about Amit. So for example, Amit have used my uh, uh, app 10 times in the past month. So what it will do, it will like summarize all the details about those 10 users. Okay, it can be like having a parking lot and what are the details, how much he has paid, for how many days or for what time did he park his car, and those kind of things. Okay, everything it should be in HTML or PDF. You can like decide on what thing to be used and attach it to the email and send it out to the user. So those two are the scheduled jobs, and the next thing is the user triggered async job. So what it is same like it's like uh, a salary task, just that the rest two are auto scheduled, so you do not have to manually trigger or click on anything. Rather, it will be automatically will be triggered by the backend or at least by salary beat. This one needs a user trigger. So it's for admin. If I Yeah, that's for the admin, right? Oh no, device and CSV format details for the parking spots used by the user till that. Okay, so that's for the user. And monthly report is, yeah, monthly report is also for the user. Okay, that is fine. So for user triggered async job, what you have to do, you have to consider, like, consider an example. If you are going to any website, okay, in general, if you consider today's scenario, in general, if you are visiting a website, you will be like having the credentials, right? Or using any other service, be it Google or something, to sign up or sign into that app. Next thing could be there could be one more threshold that you have to clear out, that is OTP. Okay. Now for that, what you see is that whenever you give out the phone number, then you are like clicking on a button. Okay. Whenever you click on that button, you will be like seeing a change in the page where it's a form where it is expecting that you write down the OTP. Okay. Now here's the thing. It cannot be every time that yes, within instant instantaneously you are getting the OTP, right? So there is a delay, and that delay is being considered by the website. Now, what is happening and why there could be a delay? Considering a scenario that at least from the telecom company's side, there's no delay. Okay, it's instantaneous. So it's like whenever you click on OTP, it's out. Okay. So whenever you are done, like whenever the app is done, you are getting it instantaneously. But still, there is something that you have to look out for. That is, for example, you are like using an mm, high traffic website. Okay. That time, the backend can handle n number of requests. It cannot be like infinite, right? There could be a there would be a limit. Now, for that condition, it can be like you can consider an example, another example, that at that specific time, 1,000 users are requesting OTPs. Okay, but your system can handle 500 requests at a moment. Okay, so after 500, what the rest 500 will see? They won't be like there won't be like there shouldn't be a condition where they are saying that yes, your request is being rejected. Rather, something like yes, they will see what, yes, the OTP is sent out. You'll be getting that in a moment. You just write it down. So what is happening from the backend side? Considering that telecom side is instantaneous, that is, the 500 OTP request will be processed. Then the next 500 will be processed. In that case, the next 500 you need to keep track. Like you need to have their have those into your queue that yes, you have to process this. So the same thing will be achieved by Celery. Okay, Celery task. It will like queue those up. Right? Then it will be processing each. So for that, you can use user triggered as a job. Even for this one, what are they saying? They are saying that you create a CSV file. Okay. So considering it to be a very small or yeah, very small CSV file, so it's like instantaneous. But what if it is having a huge amount of details? You cannot be like keeping the user waiting that yes, it will be processed, then you can go for a next page or something. Like it's not a preferred option to choose for. Rather, what you can do is that whenever you click, your backend is like backend has queued up the job, and you are like you can go for the rest of the parts. What Celery will do, Celery will slide in the side or in the backend. It will like process and create the CSV file and generate it, and however you want to share it, it can be shared. Right. So that is why we are using Celery job over here. Lastly, performance and caching. They are trying to say that add caching into your app. Where you can cache is that where like what are the expected spots. You can cache on the dashboards. Okay, for example, I'm considering an example, but that's not a very true example, but I'm like modifying it as per our need. So what am I saying is that consider the Amazon dashboard. Okay, it's like it's very dynamic, as in it is based on the user's details. Okay, so wherever the user is based on, if the user has logged in and rest of the stuff. If the user has logged in, what are the uh, last purchases and stuff. So I'm not considering it to be that. Rather, what am I saying is consider that. Uh, okay, let's not consider Amazon homepage. Rather, consider Google homepage. What is Google homepage? Google homepage is having that Google logo, and after that there is an uh, uh, input bar where you can like search, like write down whatever search query that you want to have, and then there's a button, and below that there are some other links. Okay, and that is in general shown to every user. Now, when can you cache it? Like, why would you cache it? Or I'm saying that I want to cache that. Why? That is because it's same for all users. One thing. Next thing is that consider this scenario. Whenever you are sending a request from the front end to the back end, what back end does, at least for that page, that is, I could be like, in general, I would be having, uh, at least for that kind of a page, I will be having all the details from the front end only. But if if I use my back end, uh, okay, uh, yeah, consider the scenario. I'm using my backend somehow, as in I, at least whenever a request is made, what my front end does, front end makes a request to the backend that yes, you supply any data that is needed from the backend side. Okay, and backend does that. Now, what am I saying? Whenever backend says the data, it's same for all requests. Okay. Now, for every request, the same data would be generated and will be shared with the front end, right? But will you prefer that option where your backend is getting multiple requests and getting a workload where the workload can be optimized in such a way that your backend can get free and process other requests? In that case, caching would be a option that you want to select for, if you want to like opt for. Okay. If you want, you can opt for it. Now, how would that be working? We'll be like checking out the principle that day, but it's like generally relieving your backend from unnecessary requests. I'm not saying those are unnecessary, but as in the same request, whenever those kind of requests is being processed, it's same. In that case, I can use it. It could be beneficial for that condition. Another condition could be the request can be processed faster. Okay. Anything more that is recommended or optional feature, you can like go for it if you want. But we won't be covering those in the backend. And for the evaluation, you can use the last day to discuss more about this one. If you consider the other problem statements, it's kind of same. Multi-user frameworks to be used. You can check the majority of the CRUD operations or whatever uh, actions are there is for admin only, and for user that's very less. Okay. Again, the terminologies are kind of same, and whatever table and stuff you have to make is like it's up to you if you want to use the same thing. Else you can go for a different. Okay. So you can consider that there will be at least 5 or 6 tables, at least for the details, apart from users and others. at least for basic purpose for your app. Next thing are the core functionalities. Again, admin and user login wala core functionality will be same. Next thing is the admin dashboard. It's again kind of same where the CRUD operations are listed down. Then there will be whenever the admin is being created, like whenever the new database is being created, admin should be added and rest of the stuff. Right. Then there's queries management. Again, that is for user. You can consider it to be an user part and user dashboard. Then there are the backend jobs, and finally, cast. You can go through it if you are having any request that you want to make. I can can discuss it on a later day. Right. And the other problem statement is this one that I can share it as. It's this one. I'll be following this again. This is more like to be a guiding problem statement rather. We'll be following it, but whatever code that I do is more like in a generic. You can go through the problem statements. It's like more intensive than this two. Okay. You can check those out in a later part, in a later time. But today, what am I trying to say is that whatever that we discuss, at least for 45, past 45, 50 minutes, is it okay with you guys? So I can use the next 20 minutes to draw a very basic mat one at this design, not draw. At this. Considering you can see my Vue.js screen, please anyone confirm him. See my Vue.js. Sorry, not Vue.js, VS Code screen. Give me a thumbs up. It's visible, right? So again, I need to specify something. In here, what am I doing? I forgot to specify it in what I was discussing. That is, if you remember from the problem statement, this was the problem statement that we were discussing, right? And if you see it over here, that is all demos will be possible on your local machine. What are they trying to say is that, oh, why am I focusing on this point now? That is whatever environment, whatever, however you are designing your app, it should be working whenever you are going for the drivers. They won't be judging you on what platform, what not platform is wrong word to say, what environment or what ways that you are using. They won't be judging you on that. Rather, they would be trying to see if you are having a full-fledged app that is working on your system. How you are running it, uh, it's not the thing that they will be looking out. So what am I saying is that previously this node wala condition was having something more. That is, you have to at least for your Mantle project, you have to build the project on WSL. If you are on Windows, then you have to build it on WSL. Why is that? Because they needed a Linux environment. Why is that so? If you check those out, the past 2 or 3 years, the libraries got updated multiple times. Okay, previously there were some bugs. Okay, and it was much smoother in a Linux environment than a Windows environment. Okay, even it's same for Mac too. Mac environment is also much better than the Windows environment, at least in that time. Okay, now the compatibility has been optimized and it's fine. But what I prefer is that rather stay in WSL, at least if you are on Windows, and if that is possible. Again, why am I saying possible? Because WSL takes a lot of resources and uses a lot of resources. So if your computer doesn't have that, please stay in the Windows environment if it is possible, and if you are uh, if you are done with your system commands course, then you can go for WSL. Else, even that too, WSL is much better. And here's the thing: you won't be facing any issue if you are on Windows environment. At least whenever you are going for your front end and back end development, there might be like you might may like it's like totally a condition like I cannot be sure about. That is, you may see some bugs whenever you are like, building your backend jobs. Okay, but that could be managed. Okay. If not, you can like shift only the backend Java part into Linux. That is also possible. Okay, we will be checking those out whenever we will be like covering those up. At least for the basic development, it's fine. You can like if you want, you can go for those. You might say that you discussed it for the past 2 or 3 minutes, seriously. But that's a thing that I have seen multiple students face errors. Now the next thing is that I am like will be using a base directory, right? And for that, what am I saying? I feel like for example with uh, base directory, and we'll be opening that like considering right now what my VS Code is doing. VS Code has like it's like using the WSL environment. It can be like you can like use it. So it's like if you click on this, you can like open your whatever remote location that you have. It could be WSL, it could be a Docker container, it could be a code space or anything for that example. I'm using WSL. So what it will do, VS Code will open itself through WSL. Like through WSL is won't be a right term to use, but it's like currently using WSL. But apart from that, any other view is kind of same. Like I won't say kind of, but it's totally same for any environment. Okay. So what you will be doing, you will be like opening up a folder, paste directory. The same thing I'm doing over here. I'll be opening that up, so you can see it's right there. Next thing, what I'll be doing or what I'll be following for my boot camp, you do not have to follow this. That is, for each day I'll be creating a directory and we'll be coding in that subdirectory. I won't say directory, but subdirectory. Directories within this base directory. Okay. For example, I create a directory that is Day0. Will code whatever that we have planned for today, or that I have planned for today in this Day0 directory. And I won't be touching this Day0 directory next day onwards. Okay. So you can consider that to be a like I could have used Git or GitHub, or at least for that management, but I'm not using it. Rather, I'm sticking to the directory based option. Okay. So whatever code that I do today will stay in this Day0 directory. It won't be updated anymore. Now here's the thing. In this Day0 directory, what am I saying? I'll be creating a basic MAD one application. How can I do? For example, I name it again app.py. In here, I can write down what from Flask library and import it. Flask app goes to Flask and I think that's which means mean that Flask. Okay. That's a very basic Flask app. Sure. Oh, this could be a very basic Flask application. For this, I can download the libraries. Like currently, I'm using the Flask library. I can download it in the global environment. Rather, what am I saying? Rather doing it, then you do one thing. You use a global environment, right? What am I saying? A virtual environment. How can I do it? Is you can use Python. Use Python 3. Python 3 minus m venv and name out the virtual environment. It would be like you can see it as a directory, but that's an environment. Okay. Check that out. See, it seems like a directory as in Day0, but it will be containing every other like whatever Python library and stuff. Anyways, so what am I saying? I have created the virtual environment. Next thing is that if you are on Windows, you can do one thing. That is, if you see, here's the Python version that is 3.10.12. Okay. Click on it. You can see from here that yes, that would be recommended in general, or else you can see the path that is venv bin Python, at least for Linux. If you are on Windows, then if you are naming it as .venv, then it's .venv script activate or something. So it will be script Python most probably. So whatever is the general, or you can see it from here too. So you just select on it. So next time you are opening up this directory, at least you're opening up your project directory, it will be like whenever a new terminal is being activated, it will be using the virtual environment. Okay, reactivate it. Else, to deactivate it, it's like if you write deactivate, hit enter, the virtual environment is being closed and you are on your global environment again. Okay. If you want to do it manually, how we can do it is that I'm in the same location as in the virtual environment. Okay, you can check that out. I have Day0, so I have .venv and Day0. So that would be my preferred location. Next thing is that how can I activate the environment? That is dot, or even like source .venv, that is the directory name. Then there is the bin directory, and finally there is the activator script. Okay. If I run this, let's see the virtual environment got activated. If you are using VS Code, you can prefer that option where you are using the like changing the environment. It's virtual environment. Next thing is that I am getting any problem. That is because I have activated the virtual environment, and currently, as you see, if I do pip freeze, there is no library available. So what I have to do is I have to install Flask. So it's like pip install Flask. Next thing, how can I do a check is pip freeze again. You can see these are the libraries that I have in the virtual environment. Now, I will cd into this directory that is Day0. Of course, to run the app. I could have done it other way, but yeah. Let's keep it simple. So, I'm in the Day0 directory. In here, I can run my app. It's running fine. I was in a virtual environment. In the virtual environment, I have installed the library. Now I can like run my app. Previously, I couldn't have. Like, it should have shown you guys, but yeah. So what I did, that's good. Anyways, next thing is that If you are using virtual environment and whatever libraries that you have installed in your virtual environment, if you are sure that yes, you are going to use it, next thing is that you want to have a requirements.txt. That is a list of libraries that you will be using, and that list, like you should maintain that list. Okay. So how can you do it? Is if freeze requirements.txt. Okay. If you run this command, a file will be created, and from that file, I can rebuild the virtual environment, or keep a track of whatever libraries that I am using. Next thing, so that's a virtual environment requirements for TST, everything is done. Next thing is what? A very basic MAD1 app, right? It could be something, there could be something more, that is templates or a directory. In here, I can have something like app.about. For example, that's an about page. And in here, what am I doing is about.html. I can in the Day0 direction, creating a direction. I created a file. In here, what am I saying? About.html. What's that? That says this is a about page. So my server is running fine. What I can do is, if I try to access that page, my server didn't get restarted because I haven't kept it debug to be true. So I have to manually restart it. Now, if I do a request, so request 5000 again, you can check the address from here. That is localhost 5000. About, you can see you see the index location, if it is working fine. Yes, it is working fine. Now let's check the about page. So that's the about page preview. About not found. That's shouldn't be a condition. Let's give it a try again. About not found. Huh. Oh, what? I didn't add that. I didn't. Sorry, my bad. I can see that's an about page. Okay. Next thing could be a contact page, and what the contact page does is in here I want to show something from the database. Okay, for that I don't have a database, so I have to connect it. And if I have to do it, so what's the way out is using a library that is install class. See, I have installed two libraries as of now. One is Rust, other one is Rust Alchemy, and I know that I will be using those. So what is the next thing? Next thing is that I update the requirements.txt with this command, that is quick freeze requirements.txt. If you run it again, so what it would do, it would update requirements.txt. See, I have 7 lines as of now. If I rerun this, see, it got updated to 4 extra lines. So why am I saying requirements.txt? Why do you keep requirements.txt? We'll discuss it in a moment or in the next day. But as of now, I have both the libraries with me. Next thing, I restart the app, and in here, what am I saying? Strong Flask, SQL Alchemy, SQL Alchemy. This thing is in the SQL Alchemy instance, and I have to specify the location. Okay, I'm using the default location, and the library name will be db.link, the file name, db.db3. That you have to specify the URI, and there could be the models, class, contact. This looks good to me. Here's the thing, you can see instance directory was created, right? Now what am I saying is that I have built the model. Next thing, I will be using this model to create the database. I haven't even designed a database. How can I do it? Is db.create all, and it will just creating the database. So if I restart the app, let's see. There is some error, that is app context error. That could be managed if I add something like app.app context and run this db create all within it. Else shift this db create all over here. Restarting my app, and see that it says directory is having this db.db3 wala file, that is the database file, and even in the database file there's the table. So that's auto generated. You don't have to do it. Next thing is what I want to do. I want to query that is equal to that query dot all if contact is not found. It's like state says if there is a contact, then what am I saying? Or at least let's consider the first. In here, what am I trying to do? That is, whenever I'm rendering out the stomach, the variable that is like smaller, just to contact the number and name is. That is what I'm returning. We'll be ending the session as early as it could because it's already 10:10. So what am I trying to do is in here is to like showcase it in the contact page. These are the things that you have done in your manual. You might have time is not permitting me, but apart from this, what you have done is to add some forms. to interact with the data, to get the data, store it in the database. This all stuff, right? I'd be adding those up, and you can like see those whenever they are. So, but I can give it a try. I will manually add those. This one page is visible. As of now, it is saying me no contacts because the database is empty. What if I add a field in the database? Now, if I give it a try again, you can see that this phone number and contact column will come. One more try. That's that. Start. This is how we do it. Now the next thing is that, and this will be the last thing for today's session. That is, I will be uploading everything into our GitHub repository. Check that out. That's a public repository. Don't harm it. And use it to get the code. If you want to discuss anything, I'm here for next 2 minutes. Discuss. Else, calling it a day off.
Where you will be posting the recordings?
Recordings will be posted into like will be added to a AP playlist and it will be shared with you very shortly.
Okay, thank you.
One question, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Can
Yeah.
you please show that how that checking, that link checking you have done in VS Code?
Link checking.
Like you are using APIs to use like check if the responses are coming right or not. How did you do that? The setup part.
I didn't get you.
You
Where?
did use that link, right, to get the responses, HTTPS responses.
Oh, you're talking about Postman.
Maybe.
Maybe. So are you talking about this view, this one?
Yes, yes, yes.
Asa, that's Postman. Okay. So if you have done with your theory course, they might have used Insomnia, right? So it's same like Insomnia. Okay, the principles are same. And what Postman does is Postman says like gives you an extension that you can add it to your VS Code. Okay, and it's an integrated interface. Now from here you can be doing you can do everything that you can do it from their app or from any of their platforms. The same thing could be achieved from here. So over here I can like use this. However, I was doing it. Even you will be needing this much more because as of now, I am creating what? I'm creating the views, right? I'm creating the template. So I can use the Chrome browser. Okay, and I can use a browser. to see those. But just for the sake of uh, fast access, I was doing that.
Sir, I was asking how to set up.
Set it up.
Yeah.
And
Yes, yes.
okay, to set it up is like you can go to the extension segment over here, search for Postman. Go in here. You need to install it, and you're done. You're good to go. Nothing. Acha, whenever you are installing it for the first time, you will be seeing this icon. Click on it. You will be redirected. You will be asked to sign in. Okay. Click on it. It's an intuitive process. You can like do it very easily. You just need, if you already have a Postman account, then it's fine. You just log in from your web, like the redirected tab, and you can like it will be signed in, and you can proceed. Else, if not, you can like create an account and you are good to go.
Okay, sir.
From the extension segment of Facebook, you can install it. There are multiple other extensions too. You can go for it. Like for example, there's something Python, then there's multiple other Pylons. Then install those. Even there's one for HTML. Then there's Prettyfair. Okay, ignoring what else. Nothing important. Anything more? Acha, okay. The GitHub link. This is the link. You can try it out. From here you can get the page. It's not what to because I wrote it wrong. That's not the link. This is the page. Yeah, try this one. So that is one. That one is pin. From there you can like find the page. Okay. Sure. Anything more that you want to ask? Else, okay. Again, one more thing to say. The next session is tomorrow. And as I was saying in the starting of this session, uh, I'll be preferring 8 a.m. if everyone is okay. Uh, like we'll be starting from 8.
Okay, sir.